Any CEO who's worth his or her salt is constantly assessing what they do well and what they could improve. There's no CEO that's perfect. Haven't met him, probably doesn't exist, or her, doesn't exist. But what a great CEO does is constantly course correct. You take an action, you say, what did I do well here, and what can I do better? And I think that's probably the best thing I've seen him, whether as a candidate or now as president, is, hey, I'm not going to get it all right all the time. But, and you know, even if we take the healthcare piece, you can look now and if you sort of look at when it was first put on the table and where we are today and what's going to be happening in the weeks to come as we try to sort of, you know, reframe it and what some of the options are, that's what a great leader does. And so I would give him, you know, has he had stumps and bumbles? Absolutely. Do all CEOs have stumps and bumbles? Absolutely. But the great ones are the ones who say, hey, didn't do that as well as I could have, and get back into it and work at course correction. That's the kind of flexibility and ability to sort of look at the big picture that he does exceptionally well. I think the biggest one, and I find that I will always believe this, is being yourself, being authentic. Because I think for people, and I've had a chance to sort of see this over many years, when people are really themselves, they're really able to express their thinking and their thoughts and their actions in a way that's consistent with who they are, and then are very successful. It's really important that you're authentic so that when you go through an interview process, you're not trying to sort of fit into a particular job because you think that's the job everybody says you should be interested in taking. You know, so many people sort of went down to Wall Street because they felt it was the place to go, and versus saying, oh, you know, I like the creative side of things. I like marketing. I like making things. I want to be a part of that. And yeah, maybe I'm not going to necessarily make the money if I went into the financial space, but I'm going to do something that's sort of really true to what I'm interested in. And I think those people, I'll give myself as an example, you know, when I went into product management, it was the lowest salary offer that I had coming out of business school. But I loved it, and I did well, and I, you know, excelled, and, you know, eventually over time, maybe not quite caught up with some of my peers who were successful on Wall Street, but, you know, I did okay. I made a good living. I know this is going to sound really corny. I tend to come back to both of my parents. I really, really do. My mother worked at a time when there weren't a lot of working women and moved ahead in government. My dad always talked to everybody he met, whether it was people in the supermarket who worked there, the clerks, or the people putting the produce out, and I really learned from him that everyone has value, that we're all little people. You know, people tend to say, you know, people talk about little people. We're all little people. We're all the same. And those things really stick with me because I saw how they lived their lives. And in many respects, you know, never coming close to maybe making the money that I'm making, but having a rich life and being well respected. And I think that's very important. I think sometimes we tend to want to look at the people who are the very public people. And I say, you know, don't always look for the people who are the public personas that we want to admire and the celebrities. No, you got to look for the day-to-day people who are doing the right thing, raising their families during challenging times, but really making a difference in their own way.